Let's talk about, in my opinion, King Charles and Harry. The relationship between father and son has been pretty strained since Harry and his wife Meghan decided to step back from royal duties. Since then, Harry's made numerous references to difficulties, especially around the government's decision to axe his publicly funded security detail. He launched a legal challenge to that decision. Should they put their differences aside and make up? Is it that straightforward? Let's speak to freelance royal commentator Ben Law. Morning, Ben.
Hello, good morning.
So people have seen their aides speaking, and that has sparked rumours over the weekend that some sort of reconciliation might be possible. Do you think it's realistic?
I think what we have to do is separate personal relationships from the public relationships that the King and Prince Harry has. So in terms of, firstly, them as father and son, there is, of course, no reason why, if they can work it out between them, that their relationship couldn't be reconciled. And indeed, for any father and son where relations have become strained, that should be welcomed and encouraged if there is the opportunity for that to happen, because that is what they are before they're anything else. They're a father and a son. And we have a king who is in senior years, age-wise, who is not in the full picture of health, as we may like to see. So, it could be argued that time is of the essence, perhaps, that, better to get these things dealt with now rather than have any vain regrets later on.
But I suppose that, on the one hand, yes, maybe they can repair their personal relationship, but could that damage being repaired leads to a reconciliation and then a restoration of Harry within the royal family at any point, do you think? Or is that done?
I think if we look at what's happened over the last 4 or 5 years since Harry and Meghan removed themselves from being senior working active members of the royal family, it's quite clear that there have been occasions in that time, and there will undoubtedly be occasions to come where we will at least see Harry. For instance, at the coronation of the King, at the state funeral of Her late Majesty, Harry naturally had his place there as grandson and son, respectively. However, if we're talking about the opportunity for a reconciled relationship between his father and himself leading on to becoming back into the royal family, I think that is pretty unlikely. Not only has there been all sorts of mudslinging and speculation and all of that good stuff that went on through interviews and books and so on, it would not set a very good tone in terms of the PR kudos that the royal family has if we were to suddenly start seeing Harry rode back into frontline royal affairs.
How damaging has this rift been to the public's perception of the royals, do you say?
I think it's fair to say that if you go back over the last 90 years, there have been rifts within the royal family. When Edward VIII abdicated in the late 1930s, that put enormous strain on his relationship with his brother, who then became King George VI, and other members of the family, which lingered pretty much for the rest of his life. We've seen that go on then through subsequent generations of the family. So I don't think there is anything particular about this relationship feud that has caused it to sour the perception of the royal family publicly, when, like many families, they have their issues, they have their feuds, they have their squabbles. But, in terms of what we've only heard one side of the story, and that's all we're ever going to hear, because there is a very firm position upheld by the royal household that private matters are just that, private.
Yeah, although we seem to know quite a lot about those private matters. Good speaking to you this morning. Thanks very much, Ben.
Thank you.
Freelance royal commentator Ben Lord there. A few of you getting in touch about this. We'll get to those texts shortly. 85058. Still to come this morning. We'll